cease to amaze me. They never cease to amaze me.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
Oh, do it. It's great.
I'm still losing round one going, this is the most exciting game I've had ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So much fun.
Is that all?
And it gives an American unfinished business.
Exactly. Try and beat Muscat again. Alright. I'm good whenever you are, Will.
You want me with a second line?
Well, if you need a photo. Well, CT's going to be here in about 5 minutes if we can block up in the
They're not as good.
The best thing about football is that there is always another game in another competition around the globe. And after a heartbreaking night for Newcastle football, or football across the Hunter region, the disappointment can be put to one side for the moment as a critical contest rears its head in the NPL Northern New South Wales. The gap between the top 5 and the rest is widening, and Hamilton Olympic and Lake Macquarie need to stop the rot. In 12 combined matches between the two this season, they've won just 3 of them, and if they are to keep in touch with the top 4, that kind of form is not sustainable. It's simple. Winning breeds confidence, and while the NPL may have started slowly for both the Roosters and Olympic, midweek FFA Cup victories may just be the tonic they need to kick their respective campaigns into life. A draw this afternoon helps no one, and 3 points is a must, so expect goals as two sides who love free-wheeling football go toe-to-toe at Darling Street this afternoon. It's time to have a look at the lineups for this afternoon for the visitors. Lake Macquarie, coach Nick Webb, he makes no changes from the side who defeated NPL high flyers Maitland on Wednesday night. Stuart Plant makes his first NPL appearance for the Roosters after moving from Charlestown. He was at Singleton last year in the New FM Northern League 1. And Cameron Holtzheimer, he remains out of the side, but he is here this afternoon. He was the victim of a coward punch attack last month. For Hamilton Olympic, mentor Pete McGuinness' side had some respite on Thursday night as they defeated Cahaiba 5-1 in the FFA Cup. He makes 4 changes to that side. Tyler Warren returns in place of backup keeper Dan Eisenhower, while Cody Lucas replaces Tom Stewart at the back. In the front third, Jared Sutherland and Sean Pratt, they drop back to the bench. And Simon Mooney and Scott Pettit, who scored last week his first goal for Olympic. Scott Pettit, he returns to the starting lineup. Perfect conditions here at Darling Street this afternoon for this one. Not a cloud in the sky. It is a picture-perfect day in Newcastle, currently sitting at 21 degrees. The wind just 10 kilometres an hour from the south, so behind Hamilton Olympic in this first half in their blue kit. Both sides in their home kits. Lake Macquarie from left to right in the first half in the bright yellow. Aaron Strickland, our referee for this afternoon's clash. And we are underway this afternoon at Darling Street. As I mentioned, a critical contest in the clash between the 10th placed Hamilton Olympic and 7th placed Lake Macquarie. It is round 8 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. Tyler Warren with an early touch at the back for the home side. Here's Jake McGuinness looking across to find Blake Green against his former club for the first time this afternoon. He whips it across the face. Stuart Plant may have some early work to do, and he does well to knock away Scott Pettit's header across the face. If he didn't cut that out, Stuart Plant, Simon Mooney would have had an open goal to nod into. Danger is still not gone, though, for the Roosters. Here is Pettit trying to whip it into the box again and win a throw. Cheap Turnover from Olympic. Chicago almost on the end of it. Here's Aquino. Last season in meetings between these two was a draw here at Darling Street, and Hamilton Olympic won 4-0 at Macquarie Field. Thumping win late in the season in round 21. Here is Jake McGuinness. Now Scott Pettit sees the run of Cody Lucas. Still Lucas, and Walker gets in there. Sam Walker has been in top touch the last 3 matches in the NPL. 5 goals for the Roosters skipper. Kyle Hodges, he would love a goal. 124 matches at Hamilton without one. Tom Davies now to Scott Pettit. Simon Mooney need into play here. McGuinness tries to dink it over the top to Reece Cooper. Just couldn't quite free the legs. And now Mitch Hunter breaks forward, rolls one to Sam Walker. It opens up for the Roosters, number 11. Now Chicago. Blake Green just nipping in and nicking the ball for the Roosters. Here is Race Pappas, just got caught for a moment there, and it sits for Chicago, who places it home, and the Roosters with an early advantage. The perfect start for the visitors, and Paul Chicago breaks a couple of matches without a goal. His first goal since that round 5 demolition at home against Valentine. He's been a revelation for the Roosters this year. That's his 4th of the season. Hamilton, their own worst enemies there, giving the ball away after Reece Pappas was caught in possession. The former Magic man makes Olympic pay. So they're going to have to come from behind this afternoon. The home side, here is Scott Pettit. It's their worst start to the season ever. Hamilton Olympic, 4 points from their 6 matches played so far. They're on a 3-match losing run in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Here's Reece Cooper trying to get them back in the contest. Blake Green across the face, and it has gone over the line. He scored in his last match here for Lake Macquarie last season. Blake Green, a 1-1 draw in round 10. Pettit whipping it in again. Jacob Bailey was rising. Here is Reece Pappas. Going to weave his way through a couple of bodies. Lead away by Tom Walker. It's been outstanding for the Roosters this season. Chicago's pass lets him down. They had an opportunity, a 3-on-2 potentially there. And Hamilton turned it over again. Aquino was able to ride the challenge of McGuinness. And now Mitch Hunter goes back to Campbell Ross, the former Jets youth man, speeding forward. And Sam Walker couldn't quite bring it under his control. Corey Fletcher and Walker. Good communication there. Here's Tom Davies. Here's Davies. To roll that ball up the line. And now here is Pettit in on goal again. Somehow the ball hasn't gone across the line, deflecting off defenders and into the post. And Stuart Plant will be breathing a sigh of relief. Kept a clean sheet on Wednesday night in the FFA Cup tie against Maitland. A great start for him in his Roosters debut. He almost conceded there. Simon Mooney rises. They do concede now, the Roosters. powerful header from Simon Mooney. That's his second of the season and his second from the header. Again, dangerous in the box. And Lake Macquarie's defensive frailties there for all to see again. And it's 1-1 early on in this one. Said we'd get free-flowing football, and we've got exactly that. A couple of goals early on. Harry Lane up the line. Jacob Bailey just left that pass a bit short on Hodges, and Chikawe almost into the box, but Bailey got that strength on the ball in the midfield. Made his first appearance of the season last week, Jacob Bailey, off the bench. Got just over half an hour, just if you include the stoppage time in that one last week in that 3-2 loss to Maitland. There's rumours he was going to be heading to Broadmeadow Magic, but seems like he's back in favour with Pete McGuinness. There is Jake McGuinness getting a touch in. Lane goes up the line to Chikawe. And McGuinness after it. It was Campbell Ross coming across quickly, but his shank ball downfield has actually just sat inside the line. Kyle Hodges on it, and here's Bailey. The bright boots to Cody Lucas. Now Mooney with the flick on, just offside. It was a promising attack for Hamilton Olympic. The early jitters seems to be reducing quickly for Olympic after conceding that early goal. Poor turnover at the back. It's been a feature for Olympic this year, just poor turnovers, gifting the opposition goals. And Sparray just trips over on the ball, and Scott Pettit quickly pushes forward. Ilster offside against Simon Mooney. Not heeded by the assistant referee. Cooper now towards Bailey. Now Harry Lane, he's going to have a little bit of work to do because Reece Cooper got the speed to get in behind him. Here is Green. Decent ball in. It may sit for Scott Pettit. It did. May have hit a heavy patch of turf there and just rolled under his boot. He'll be disappointed. Scored his first goal for Hamilton Olympic last week to get them back in the match against Maitland. Almost had two in 2 matches there. Here's Kasic. Attempted flick on from Lane. Cody Lucas just too quick there. Reece Pappas on the turn. Another poor ball from Pappas. He gifts Chikawe the pass, and Aquino is away. And Aquino is stopped in his tracks by Tom Davies. A superb challenge from the young Olympic defender. Here's Cody Lucas. And now McGuinness pushing forward up towards halfway, trying to release Simon Mooney. He's just offside again. Tom Walker and Corey Fletcher launching one long and looking for the run of Mitch Hunter. Scored a late goal last week in their 5-3 defeat to the Jets youth. So Tom Davies on the ball. Pappas to Hodges. Rolling one wide to Cody Lucas. Just dinks this one towards Reece Cooper. Kasic. Very calm. And the throw goes the way of Olympic, much to the disappointment of the Lake Macquarie bench. They were furious about that decision. Cody Lucas there with the head. Now Hodges backtracking. Now Jake McGuinness. Sam Walker with an important intervention. And now Hunter, wide to the speed of Sparray, and Davies has handballed in the box. He went down low, he slid in, and Lake Macquarie will get a chance to hit the front again. Chris Turner, better late than never.
Yeah, sorry about the late arrival. Just had to pick up old mate Trevor Reedman from the train station. Got to get your priorities right. But we get straight into a penalty here, and looks like it's going to be Sam Walker to pick this one up, and from all accounts a bit distance from here, but it did look like he was brought down in the box.
A handball. It was a handball.
Sorry, a handball.
Against Davies.
Just a little bit rushed and in.
You're right, Sam Walker.
We'll get there.
Sam Walker has been in superb form. CT, the last 3 matches, he scored 5 goals. He's looking to make it 6 in 4.
Well, he really has.
Here he is.
He's made no mistake there.
Well, that was as easy as you like from Sam Walker. Sends Tyler Warren the wrong way. And for the second time this afternoon, the Roosters are in front. We know they can score goals, both these sides. It's just a matter of whether they can keep them out at the back. And I don't know what is going on the sideline. Sam Walker and Chris Turner are getting a selfie. I've never seen anything like it. Here's Cooper, and now diving in. Gee, that's a great challenge from Tom Walker to stop Reece Cooper. His brother's getting a selfie with Chris Turner on the sideline. I have no idea what was going on. And his brother's out there sliding in and stopping a potential equaliser for Hamilton Olympic. Can you explain what you were doing? What was that?
Well, I'll just qualify that his coach may not be happy, Nick Webb, and I'll apologise in advance. But that was pre-positioned, and he was way too slow getting over here, Bart. Had he have done that a lot quicker, no issues from the coach, but we might have to sort that one out later.
Here's Olympic on the ball. That was, yeah, I can understand Nick Webb being a bit frustrated. Here's Scott Pettit winning his side a corner.
He won't be too bad because they've just gone 1-0 up.
2-1. 2-1 up, CT. I know you're late, but we've had a flurry of early goals.
Wow.
Balls for Cody Lucas, who hasn't scored in a couple of seasons. And I'll tell you what, the goals that he does score are decent ones. Scored a start, probably one of the goals of the season in 2016 against Western, trying his luck again from distance. Jacob Bailey. Now Davies and Pettits. CT, tell me how these two sides, formation-wise,
yeah, sure. I was just having a look across the park, and I have spoken to both coaches today. Olympic are playing with a 3 at the back. You can see that, and they've got at the moment, they've got a 4 in the middle of the park, and it's great to see Jacob Bailey back in this side as well. He's come back from injury last year, where he's had a knee reconstruction, and he's back in flight, which is great news for Olympic. But they've got like a box 4 with 2 wide players, and Cody Lucas, and looks like Blake Green, and then we've got a sole runner up front and Simon Mooney. So their formation, I actually really like the way that they're set up here, because it's an attacking formation with the left and right guys. We'll see how they balance off one another in defence as the game goes on.
So here's Scott Pettit. Looking towards the back post. Cooper there, as was McGuinness. Couldn't quite get on the end of it for Hamilton Olympic. Here's Kyle Hodges. And Davies. Now with Scott Pettit. The Hamilton Olympic in the NPL 3-match winless streak. And they've only gone to win, sorry, I should say a 3-match losing streak. They've only lost 4 matches or more in a row 4 times in their history in the top flight since 1992. Here's Reece Cooper.
And Reece Cooper has been in sensational form, and what a ball.
Here's McGuinness looking across. Mooney wants a double. Couldn't quite get on the end of that one. And now Mitch Hunter breaks forward. And CT, I said before the match, we're going to get an entertaining spectacle this afternoon, and it has not disappointed. 3 goals already. And look at the amount of space that's out there for the midfield of both sides. Here's Lane. Now Walker.
Well, the last time we watched Lake Macquarie play, they played at Lake Macquarie and used the width particularly well. But talking to Nick Webb earlier this morning, he said he knows they're going to be strong Olympic through the central areas, and he's going to try and narrow things up a little bit. So it worked well against Magic in the FFA Cup during the week, and that's where he's looking to be stronger, knowing that which now we see Olympic playing a box 4 in the middle of the park.
That FFA Cup match against Maitland, 2-0. 2-0 result against the Magpies on Wednesday night. You'd call it an upset based on where they are on the ladder. Here's Blake Green, looking to open his account in Hamilton colours against his former club. This is as involved as I've seen Blake Green this season. He's been really good for a side who is down at this point. There's Shikawa. Launches one forward. Harry Lane going to get on the end of it. Tyler Warren is there.
We've really singled this game out as one that we wanted to attend today. Unfortunately, we haven't got Smudge here, but thinking that it will be entertaining, and so far so good. Obviously, I missed the first 2 goals. I think it was 1-0 after the penalty. But to have this many goals this early in the game is really unique.
Cody Lucas almost rolling his ankle there on the ball. McGuinness scored 2 goals on Thursday night against Kahiba. It was just their second win in all competitions this season, that 5-1 result against the men from Kahiba, playing in the New FM Northern League 1. That's what a cup competition can do, CT. Just breathe some life back into your NPL, your league performances. Here's Reece Cooper trying to weave away from Tom Walker again. And Nick Webb said that he's been just about or close to the Roosters' best this year. He's been great again this afternoon. Blake Green can't keep the volley down.
We were just having a look at him. We were talking about Tom Walker a couple of weeks ago, and that tackle he made there is absolutely crucial to stopping an Olympic goal. So, you know, he is in good form, and going back into the back line from where he initially started up front and in wide areas, he's really found a home there.
Tom Davies. There is Cooper. And I'm sure Nick Webb would have spoken to Tom Walker and Corey Fletcher at the back about the danger that Reece Cooper possesses. I'm sure they would already know that he would have rammed that home to them.
Well, he had a fantastic year last year, and this year has been no different, if not better. Every time he's on the ball, he's creating something or he's making things happen. And
that's a great ball from McGuinness to Pappas, and well cut out by Corey Fletcher, the experienced centre-back. You know him well, CT.
Yeah, certainly do. And that ball from McGuinness was absolutely top drawer. What I'm liking about his game is just his understanding of where his teammates are and being able to pick them out.
So Pettit again, another good ball. Aquino may have got his head on the end of that one. He did really well to rise above taller men around him. Blake Green, not sure he intended it to go that way. Jacob Bailey couldn't quite catch up with Sam Walker. Rolls it to Hunter. Gee, that's a great early ball wide to Spare. Playing with such confidence at the moment, the Roosters. If you have just joined us, Paul Shikawa and Sam Walker with the goals for Lake Macquarie, and Simon Mooney scored for Hamilton Olympic. It was 1-0. Shikawa with the first goal. Mooney equalised a couple of minutes later. And here is Mooney again to make it 2-2 on the double, Simon Mooney. And the goal fest continues at Darling Street.
And here's another player who's been in great form, Simon Mooney. He's come back into this Olympic team from a year away out of it, and he's just absolutely giving them something that Peter McGuinness is after, and that's a finish like that. Wonderful strike.
Well, this could be anything this afternoon, CT.
Well, I mean, we're this early in and it's 4 goals, so, you know, I guess both coaches will now be looking on how they're going to shore things up because they've both proven they're going to score. How do you stop that? And then that's what the question is going to be going through the coaches' minds. All right, we've let in 2 each.
It's Davies. Well, his pass is deflected off Pappas. It's Cooper. Now Blake Green. Cooper just held off Campbell Ross. He's a small frame, the former Jets youth youngster. Campbell Ross, here's Mooney trying to cut it back. It will fall for him again. Mooney back into the middle of the box, and Reece Cooper and Reece Pappas get in each other's way. Cooper also grabbed 2 on Thursday night against Cohiba. Sean Pratt, the other goal scorer, as well as McGuinness with a couple. So the free kick going the way of Hamilton Olympic. They haven't won here at Darling Street in the NPL. Hamilton Olympic in 6 matches. That's dating back to last season. It's been a barren run for them. They've only won 1 of their last 9. That was against Adamstown in round 2, the 1-0 result. Davies has ball to Cody Lucas, bounces up awkwardly for the left back who can't bring it under his control. Here's Green, now Bailey. Now Reece Pappas saw the run of Blake Green. Great vision from the midfielder. Great tackle from Harry Lane as well. Snuffs out the opportunity. McGuinness. Oh, that was a great turn away from Campbell Ross. Now off the back of Walker. Appeals for handball. Didn't know much about it, Tom Walker. Hand was almost behind his back. Here's Harry Lane. Walker. First touch football. Joe Kasich. Blake Green just gets a touch. We'll give away the free kick.
Just touched on before how Scott Pettit and Blake Green are going to how they're going to defend, and you can see now that they're really plugging up those channels on Lake Macquarie and forcing an error like that. Likely to be one high, one low, and balance off each other. That's a usual scenario, and Peter McGuinness will make sure that that actually happens throughout the game. But the players themselves will be well aware of it.
McGuinness to Cooper. And now Pettit's neat back heel to Mooney. And Pettit returns the favour to the 2-goal scorer this afternoon. Here he is, Mooney. Cooper rises. Stuart Plant does well to keep it from nestling in the back of the net. Don't know how Scott Pettit didn't knock it over the line. This is 2 weeks in a row for Lake Macquarie. They've fired out of the blocks early on. But still, they're level midway through the first half. Same thing happened last week against the Jets youth. They lost that one 5-3 in the end. That one was 2-2 as well. Here is Shikawa. Maybe a high boot there. Corey Fletcher's caught one in the hip, maybe the glutes. Here's Campbell Ross. Play's going to go on. And Corey Fletcher, we'll see. He's going to stay down. Lake Macquarie refusing to kick the ball out here. Be interesting to see what happens. Fletcher's back up now.
He's copped one, but he's looks okay. And that's unnecessary from Corey. Fletcher, he's had no intention on the ball then, straight through Mooney.
It was like he was a lumberjack there, CT.
That was just purely frustration and revenge is what that's all about. And he's lucky to not see himself go in the book.
Yep, he cut him down literally. Here's Scott Pettit. Not quite as bad as old Roy O'Donovan last night, CT. That was a shocker, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. There's no other words for it. It was a shocker.
Well, shocker's an understatement, I'd say. Here's Tom Sparray. And now Hunter, were you left clutching at your jaw, just feeling, all your teeth are there? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about it today, but I mean, it's one of those things you can see how passionate he is, and raw passion. Just no place for it.
Here's Simon Mooney. That's an audacious attempt at a hat-trick. But he's on this afternoon for the hat-trick, Simon Mooney.
Well, as Peter McGuinness well knows, he's highly capable of scoring goals, and that's why he's got him sitting at the top of the point on his own, because he can play with his back to goal. He can certainly hold the ball up. He knows where the runs have got to go to, and he can time his runs well, as you're looking at him now off the ball.
Scott Pettit and Kasich, he made a bit of a meal of that. And in the end, it turns out nicely for the Roosters. Stuart Plant getting back and making the grab.
It's the first time we've seen Stuart Plant for Lake Macquarie. He's pulled off a couple of good saves, and he looks like he's ready to put his body on the line as well for the cause, and I'm sure he's a welcome addition to the group. Apparently his nickname is Facey, but face plant.
Well, he hasn't face planted yet this afternoon, so that's good news.
We'll see how Facey goes throughout the game.
He's very active on Twitter, Stuart Plant, so gets into it. He's in a good way. I know Twitter's a very negative place, but he brings some positive vibes. Here's Cody Lucas. Starting to sound a little bit like Lubo Milicevic when I start talking about vibes, CT. Here's McGuinness. Steps away from Campbell Ross. Now Cooper. Sees the run of Pettit, but he left that well short. Tom Sparrow will pick a ball up like that any day of the week. Mitch Hunter. Now Sam Walker. See Sparrow again, who has got acres of space down that left flank. Makes the darting run, but Scott Pettit just out-muscles him. Reece Pappas. Green. Just a cool one just inside the line, but it's too heavy for McGuinness. He really needed a bike to get to that one. And now Tom Walker is in a little bit of bother. He gets away with it. Stuart Plant. It's a great ball to Harry Lane. Picked him out. Cooper. Pettit. And CT, while Tom Davies is regaining his footing, we've got a couple of very special guests.
Yeah, in fact, we really do. I'm here with Cameron Holzheimer and his father, Shane. Cameron, for those that don't know, I'm sure most people do, has been involved in an unprovoked incident where he had a serious head knock. And Cameron, great to see you back on your feet, literally, and out of hospital.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be out of hospital and back around the football.
You know, we often joke on this show, but this is no joke whatsoever. It's inexcusable for what's happened. But you really did nearly lose your life.
Yeah, it was pretty dangerous what happened.
Well, like, sincerely from the whole footballing community, it's just great to have you here and back with us and back on your feet. And we know you'll be back in the football circles at some point. So, and your father, Shane, you're from Brisbane. You've come, obviously this was quite traumatic for you and the family.
Yeah, the 2 o'clock phone call on Saturday morning was one of those nightmare moments in your life. Fortunately, we've had a lot of support here at Newcastle. Like the Lakes, the coach Nick, he's been fantastic. Everyone at the Lakes has been great. Police did a fantastic job. The men of football have been around us as well, so we've had a lot of support which has made the last couple of weeks a lot better than what it could have been. It was a fairly roller coaster event, and as you said, like he spent seven nights I think in ICU, which is quite confronting, not only for us but who else is in there as well. It's pretty crazy times, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll just cross this free kick, Bart.
Yeah, Tom Walker just dinking one, but straight to Tyler Warren.
And just before we go to the men of football, we'll just talk about Lake Macquarie. You said they've been supportive, and Nick Webb's obviously gone right out of his way for you.
Oh, definitely. We're currently staying at Nick's at the moment. My wife and I, we were staying in Jasmine, and Nick offered his place to us, which is fantastic. It's been a help. Fortunately, my wife's gone home to try and get some sanity back in her life in Brisbane, and Cam and I are at Nick's at the moment, and Cam moves into rehab as of tomorrow, and I'll be staying there until we sort out what the next phase is for Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we refer often in this footballing community as a footballing family, and, you know, Nick Webb is obviously, and the club are extending that one out genuinely to you guys, which is fantastic. The men of football is, you know, something that we value highly.
So to here is Sam Walker just falling down on the edge of the box. Another promising raid from Lake Macquarie. As you were saying, the men of football, terrific job they do.
And they do, and they've put their hands up right now to come and help you guys out, yeah?
Oh, definitely, CT. They've you know, offered all sorts of support, not only now but ongoing support. So, you know, if we need any ongoing medical or anything, you know, the last words I think Ross said to me was, if you need anything, just give me a call tomorrow, anytime, just give me a call. So it's been fantastic. I didn't even know about men of football until, you know, a week ago, and I just amazed at how good it is to be part of the football community. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well said. And it is, and the thing about it is that they put on different events and fundraising dinners, luncheons, have speakers, all for the causes of things specifically like this. And we're grateful that there's a group of volunteers that do such a wonderful job. And just to close off, Cameron, great to see you back. Take your time and do what you've got to do. You've got the support of all of us, so, you know, just take your time with what you're doing. And thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
And cheers.
Sorry, just one last thing. It's the first time I've seen him genuinely smile in a long time, and I think it's being out here in the sun watching a game. It's fantastic.
That's brilliant news. All right, well, thanks again. Cheers.
Terrific. Thanks, Cameron, and thanks to Shane. Terrible incident, but wish Cameron and his family all the best in future. It was coward punch attack. CT, they are just one of the very worst.
Yeah, look, the coward punch, whatever you're going to call it, getting hit from behind unprovoked, it's just not it. And this young man, you know, really did nearly lose his life, and it's just it's hard to put words into what it is. So other than it's just really, really good to see him, and the fact that he's smiling is just wonderful.
There's a chip ball over the top for Tom Walker. It almost found its way to his brother Sam. And now a keynote. Just in the challenge there. And now Scott Pettit. Sees the run of Jake McGuinness down this left flank. Steps away from Harry Lane. And just flicks one up. Slight of foot there, but just a little over hit.
Good first touch and good control from McGuinness. He just tried to lock that one over and just ran out on him a little.
Just going to say to you, CT, while you were chatting to Cameron and Shane, Sam Walker actually almost scored. It would have been one of the strangest goals you'll ever see. He swiveled in the box. He basically passed it, and Tyler Warren seemed to not pick it up, and it almost rolled as slowly as a ball possibly can into the back of the net. Did well to catch up with it.
Well, what we are seeing here is end-to-end football right now, and as the spectacle goes, it's all good news because both teams have made their intention very clear. It's to attack.
Spar A just couldn't stop that one crossing the byline. It's been great to watch, so don't go anywhere. 2-2. Early 4 goals in this one.
I was talking to Nick Webb about the Chicago and Morgan Aquino. And these two guys up front are fantastic, because what it's done is it's allowed Sam Walker to come back into the middle of the park, and with that there's a wonderful triangle that's developed there, and they're getting, according to Webb, that they're getting a great combination developing.
Here's Harry Lane now to Sam Walker. That is what Jacob Bailey brings to Hamilton Olympic, that midfield muscle. Here is Pappas, shaped to shoot. Here's Jacob Bailey, rolling one.
Yeah, Bailey, that's what he does bring. He brings some muscle. Not only that, he's a terrific footballer on his own right. His distribution is really good often. His passing range is just solid, and he understands the game, and he's not going to be out-muscled, that's for sure. And Olympic will welcome that back.
Davies towards Blake Green again.
And no strapping on his knee, so that's a great sign for him and also his club.
He did that ACL back in 2016 and missed the entire 2017 season. Always a terrible injury, that ACL. That's a decent ball from Pappas, and a brilliant save from Plant after Scott Pettit powered his header towards goal. Gee, that's about 2 or 3 super saves Stuart Plant has made in goals for Lake Macquarie. He has kept them in this first half.
I said before, but what an addition to the group. They apparently needed a keeper, and he's come out from Charlestown, sitting behind Daniel Ireland.
It's a bit of a big task, isn't it, trying to dethrone the premier goalkeeper in the competition back in 2016. Here is Simon Mooney. Will it be a first half hat-trick for Simon Mooney? It will be. It's a first half to remember at Darling Street for Simon Mooney. That's 4 goals for him this season, 3 of them in this first half.
Well, he's absolutely picked his spot out there, and he knows how desperate Olympic have been, and after a win, if anyone's going to finish as well as him, and he's just done it there, he's just displayed pure class. And you know what, he had a few options. He could have gone left, low, he could have probably bent it right, but just saw Plant off his line and had to play it just absolutely perfect from there, which he did, and also under a lot of pressure. So terrific goal and great finish.
Here is Fletcher. And again, for the second week in a row, Lake Macquarie get themselves in front. Gets back to 2-2, and now they're behind 3-2. Here's Kasic. In your eyes, CT, what is their issue at the back? Because it is very leaky.
We have seen 5 goals, so you've got to look across both groups here. We'll just start with Lake Macquarie, and I don't think it's a problem at the back. I think that the strike force of Olympic has just been very penetrating. When you've got players like Green, Pettit, Cooper.
Here's Shikawa. Here is Aquino. Here is a chance to equalise. He scored on Wednesday night, Morgan Aquino, in the FFA Cup. Couldn't quite open his account in the NPL there. He scored his second of the season. He scored in that demolition job against Valentine.
And then they appointed the attack with Mooney, so they've got people running at them in numbers regularly. So that's a problem. The big point for Lake Macquarie is not to get caught too flat, and they've got to understand there's people going to be running at them in staggered lines, and by that meaning they're not all coming at once, so whether it's easy to mark.
Sam Walker, does he have the quality on delivery? Aquino got there with a header. Gee, that was powerful. Back to Walker, curling it in. Aquino with a second bite of the cherry. And to be brutally honest, CT, as we're near half-time, I think this match, based on chances and opportunities, deserves to be level, I would say. Both sides have had some great opportunities. It's just Hamilton with Simon Mooney have been a little more clinical.
Yeah, that's right, and I think Nick Webb will probably go in frustrated at half-time that they're not at the least level as well. But, I'm going to take nothing away from this first half performance of Olympic, who have clearly got a plan and are executing it well. And that plan looks like attacking them with speed through the middle of the park. And they've got like I mentioned, a box 4, but they've got the ability to revert to a 4-3-3, and Peter McGuinness will practice that, and the guys understand it, so at the flick of a switch they can change their formation in a hurry, and that's a powerful weapon to have as a coaching tool.
As the ball launched long, Cody Lucas. Well, if you look defensively at both of these two sides, Hamilton Olympic, they've conceded 8 in their last 3 NPL matches. And for Lake Macquarie, they've conceded 6 in their last 3, including 5 last week. So both very much open for business at the back. Lake Macquarie have scored 13 goals in their last 3 NPL matches. Make it 15 in 4 with the 2 this afternoon. This is interesting. Harry Lane trying to crawl over the ball. McGuinness gave him a bit of a shove. Jacob Bailey having a couple of words to say to referee Aaron Strickland, and then Harry Lane slips over. That's a wetter part of the pitch. Shade of the grandstand. Harry Lane has cleaned up Cooper. And out comes the yellow card straight away from Strickland. First off the match.
Reece Cooper just wanted to get on with it there. He didn't care that someone was going to go through him. He just wanted to get on goal. We spoke about the defence of Lake Macquarie, but we'll also have a look at Olympic here as well. They're choosing to play with a 3 at the back centrally, and then you've got Green and Pettit playing left and right side.
Pettit, well, it's beaten everyone. It's just
So with that left and right side, the key for Olympic is, they can have 5 at the back as required, or at least 4. So if the ball's high on the right, you want your left-sided attacking wide guy to be tucking in, and I'm sure that'll be the message from McGuinness to make that happen. So effectively, it's not just a 3, it's a 4.
Reece Cooper weaved away from Walker, threaded the needle to McGuinness. It was just overhit, and Corey Fletcher wins the free kick. McGuinness going in there. And Aaron Strickland is going to have a chat here to Nick Webb. He's actually chatting to the assistant coaches and not Nick Webb. Is that how you understood it, CT?
Well, the 4th official was over there a little bit earlier and was talking to both the assistants. And I think that one from the referee was directed at all 3 of them.
They've been a little bit chatty this afternoon. Well, probably Newmoff is just actually standing behind them. He wasn't chatting to him, was he? Thought he was still at coaching.
Well, Bobby Newmoff is never the sort of guy that would get chatted on the sideline by a referee, so he's definitely not talking to Bobby.
Oh, he's off now.
Just to make it clear that the referee's not going to talk to him.
Here we go, Sam Walker on the edge of the D. And Tom Sparrow looking to open his account for the season. Scored a couple last year for Lake Macquarie. Got so much speed down the flank. Just couldn't quite find their quality on the strike.
Well, that one's actually cleared the fence and is sitting over in an area that you want to get the ball back quickly.
You're not going to go back and get it, ACT?
No.
Just got a score update. Adamstown leading Charlestown 2-1. Can you believe that? Adamstown in superb form, and it is half-time here at Darling Street. I'll update those scores in just a second. And it has been an entertaining first half. 5 goals. Simon Mooney scored a hat-trick. Paul Chikawa and Sam Walker with the strikes for Lake Macquarie. For the second week in a row, Lake Macquarie, they led on 2 occasions. And they find themselves behind 3-2. They'll want to turn that around in the second half. But as we expected, an entertaining spectacle. Half-time at Darling Street. It's the home side. Hamilton Olympic 3, leading Lake Macquarie 2. And Chris Turner, while we're having a break here, Nick Webb is having a chat to the referees. What do you think it's about?
Look, he's obviously frustrated at the moment and can understand his frustrations. I've sat in his chair in those colours. I understand where he's coming from, and I think it's one of those things that it's in the heat of the moment, but he just needs to sort it out with the referees. He's obviously just had his piece to say, and he'll move on with it.
Well, we'll have a quick break, 10 minutes to be precise, and we'll be back on the other side of this. Actually, I'll just get those other scores that I had. So Adamstown leading Charlestown 2-1. Great for the competition. That's a huge upset brewing there. Maitland and Edgeworth 1-1, and Valentine and Western 1-1 as it stands. So some interesting results going on around the ground, CT.
Well, they are at half-time, and just quickly before we break, we've spoken about how unpredictable and it's been difficult for tipping which way things are going to go, and it's certainly panning that way today.
All right, well, half-time, Hamilton leading by 3-2. We'll see you in 10. Welcome back to Darling Street Oval in Hamilton. It's round 8 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. It's the 10th placed Hamilton Olympic. We're used to seeing them in the top 4 at least, up against the 7th placed Lake Macquarie Roosters. And it is Simon Mooney, the number 7 in the middle of the park for Olympic at the moment in the blue. He scored a first half hat-trick and they lead it by 3-2. And Aaron Strickland will get us back underway in the final 45 minutes of round 8. Blake Green to McGuinness, and already Olympic pushing forward. They've unlocked the Lake Macquarie defence. Simon Mooney almost had 4. I thought for a moment he definitely had 4, Chris Turner.
Well, he really almost did. I mean, a great piece of individual skill to guide the ball, but he's just pushed it wide. He's in some sort of form at the moment.
He's in red-hot form. Here's Hodges. And Tyler Warren on the ball at the back. Jody Lucas. So, can Olympic end a 278-day wait for a home victory? It's quickly closing in on a year since they last won here at Darling Street. It's just incredible.
Well, that is incredible. You wouldn't ever imagine that would be the case.
Here's Cooper.
You know, Olympic, the times that we've seen them this year, have been a side that you could say have won games. If you didn't see the scoreline, you'd say that if you watch them play and you think, okay, they've won that game, but scoreline has shown a different story, or told a different one at least, and they're in games, and today they're just literally unleashing what they've got. 2 players for me in particular is the man that's been scoring goals in Mooney, and also the inclusion of Jacob Bailey. I think he offers some real value to Olympic. They've got very, very skillful players. They've got ball players all around the park, and Bailey's got that in his game, but he's also got the ability to muscle his way around it, and he's really going to make sure that the opposition are going to be in for a tough afternoon every time he's out there.
Here's Cooper. Used his body well to get away from Fletcher, but he couldn't keep the ball inside the line. CT, we look at the last 4 matches Olympic have played, where they've gone winless. A 2-2 draw against Valentine Phoenix, where they could have won late. Both sides had the opportunity to win that. Then they've lost 2-1 to the Jets, 3-2 to Edgeworth, and 3-2 to Maitland. So really, they've been right there. Here is Simon Mooney, and Stuart Plant got a left arm to it. He seemed to pick that one up late. And Hamilton Olympic are smelling blood in the water here.
Yeah, let's not lose sight of the fact it's just 3-2 at the moment. Could have been 4, and that makes it really difficult. But Lake Macquarie are right in this match. And as we've seen, you know, they've got the attacking power to make it happen.
McGuinness.
What Nick Webb will be desperate for is for his side to get the next goal, because that's going to be really crucial. You think if it goes 4-2, then defensively, knowing that Olympic want to play a little narrower than normal today, that would be the case that they'd lock it up a lot better, and it'd be really difficult. In a similar fashion, we saw the Jets last night, very difficult to play in when the team's just going to very concentrated on slowing everything down and make it difficult for you to penetrate.
And if Olympic score a 4th, it means Lake Macquarie have to open up even more. And they've already conceded 4 when they're not quite as open at the back, and I feel that's going to spell danger. Here is Shikawa, took a deflection off Hodges and curls into the arms of Tyler Warren. He's kept just 1 clean sheet this year, Tyler Warren, and that was that round 2 win against Adamstown, the 1-0 victory. It's been a tough year. Here is McGuinness. Across the face, Stuart Plant. Was unsure for a moment, but got out well.
Well, on Tyler Warren, I mean, let's just, you know, put him in perspective for him. He's had a lot of work to do, and he's made a almost uncountable quality saves this season. And when we've seen him play, he's been very, very good. It's just unfortunate, you know, that it's not just the keeper, of course, that's going to be letting the goals in. It's, you know, there's 11 of you out there.
I think I will add a caveat to that, CTs. Here is the clearance from Tom Walker in that I feel that goalkeepers get too much credit when they're keeping a lot of clean sheets and not enough credit maybe when he's the clearance away. And then when they are conceding goals, they're blamed too much, I should say. So they get too much credit for keeping a lot of clean sheets when the defence is a big part of that as well. And then when they aren't keeping clean sheets, they're blamed when the defence is partly to blame as well.
Yeah, that's exactly spot on. So if your goals are going to be peppered all day, chances are...
Here he is, Simon Mooney to get a fourth. Stuart Plant just was able to thwart him at the last moment. But Olympic, Late Macquarie look frazzled at the moment. Cooper rides the challenge from Walker, who won the ball back. Then Simon Mooney's in there. Now Reece Papist thought about hitting it, and this might hit you on the head, CT. Oh.
As long as it didn't hit my car, Bart, and it was parked about there.
front windscreen's in a little bit of trouble.
Well, I do have Tom Walker's phone number, so if there's any issues, I know where to get him. Coincidentally, well, not coincidentally, it was Tom Walker's 100th game for Lake Macquarie during the week in the FFA Cup game. So, you know, he's been a wonderful addition to that group, and great to see him reach that milestone.
And he scored on Wednesday night as well. That's his... Well, he hasn't scored in the NPL since 2014. So it's been a long time between drinks in the top grade. Here is Pettitz whipping it in, and Bailey couldn't direct it on target. Of course, in the new FM he scored plenty of goals, but no top flight goals since 2014 when he scored 6.
One of the many attributes of Scott Pettit is his ball delivery, and his cross there was absolutely perfect for Bailey. Jacob Bailey will be, if he had his time again and he's thinking about it tonight, he'll be thinking he should have put that away.
Blake Green. He's able to win the throw there. Olympic happy just to slow things down a touch. It's Harry Lane, Kasic, and now Sam Walker. Got the pass forward to Mitch Hunter. Pappas coming from behind, just got a toe in, which was crucial in the end. Spare has to track back.
It's just at this period of the match that Hamilton Olympic have got some control over the proceedings, and they're the ones that are dictating terms for the moment. Holding possession a bit longer and getting more passes.
Roosters really need a goal, don't they? Kasic's clearance has gone straight up in the air.
Well, Lake Macquarie have been in, let's say, a very, very good form recently. They're coming up against a side that, I have to say, in my view, are overdue and been playing great football.
Stuart Plant launches that one long. Sam Walker had the outstretched right boot. Just couldn't reel it in. Another long raking goal kick from Tyler Warren. Campbell Ross seem a little fatigued at the moment, the Roosters. Here's a push from Corey Fletcher. Well, that was a Stonewall free kick for Hamilton Olympic there, I thought. Hand straight in the back of Simon Mooney. Walker. If you have just joined us and you want to know the scores in the other games, you can check them out on Bar TV Sports, the YouTube channel. But Valentine led Western 2-1 at half-time. Adamstown led Charlestown 2-1 as well. Incredible scoreline there at Adamstown Oval, and at Maitland it's 1-1 between the Eagles and the Magpies. The Birds having a stoush there, Magpies and Eagles.
A stoush, Bart.
A stoush.
Take the opportunity to look that up a bit later.
Now Shikawa. the moment for the Roosters. No, it isn't. Tom Davies. He's been really good at the back. He's been solid. He always is, the youngster. Now Tom Walker. Now Sam Walker. Jacob Bailey did well just to get a boot in there. And now Bailey does win the ball back. Rides the challenge of Walker and not on the same page as Mooney, but they will come back for the free kick. It's incredible to think Tom Davies is so young, isn't it? Because he's been around Hamilton Olympic for so long, since he was a 16-year-old.
Yeah, that's right. You do tend to forget.
And around the first grade squad for that amount of time as well. Here's Hunter. Walker. And now Kasic. He's got that space. What's the option here from Joe Kasic? He finds Harry Lane. The outside of his boot. Not the quality former Magic man would have wanted. What's the issue for Lake Macquarie at the moment? The free-flowing football that was so prevalent in the first half has gone missing.
Well, Olympic have just kept more possession. It's as simple as that. They're knocking the ball around well. And apart from that one, they've been keeping it relatively short.
Reece Cooper stepped away from Fletcher. Here is Blake Green. Mooney! Well, it was harder to miss than to score for Simon Mooney there. Just incredible. He's had 3 harder chances than that, and he's poked that one over the bar. He's having a little chuckle, I think, as well.
Well, Bart, I think, it's easy for us in the armchair to say that, but when you're at full speed, full stretch, and that ball's going at that pace, sometimes it's not that easy. You can see the amount of turf that he's taken up to reach out to it. I mean, he'd want that one again and he'd finish it, but they're not always as easy as they look.
Well, I wouldn't have scored it, so...
And I'm guarantee you I wouldn't have, and there's no way Smudge would have.
Well, Smudge probably would have pulled a hammy, I'd say, wouldn't he? Stretching that far.
Yeah.
It's Corey Fletcher. Now Sparray just open up for him. Scott Pettit was away to the danger and he got on his bike quickly to get back. Neat ball from Sparray. Shikawa, Walker. Sam Walker hits it. Deflection in. Double for Sam Walker. And his goal-scoring spree continues to this afternoon, and it's all locked up at 3-3.
I would have to say, Bart, that one was against the run of play. And for that finish from Walker, what a terrific strike. He's found a gap and he's picked it out. Nick Webb will be ecstatic about that because it gives them the opportunity to reset their team on a side that's been dominant for them, dominant on them, against them for the last 15 or so minutes.
So there's plenty of glee for Lake Macquarie. It's 3-3 CT. Reece Pappas out of Cooper. And here's Simon Mooney almost through again, but he was just caught offside.
I'd love to know Peter McGuinness's heart rate right now because only a couple of minutes ago there's an opportunity for Mooney to put one away and then they go 4-2 up. Now it's 3-3 and he must be thinking, oh no, not again. You've got to get his side back into possession football that they've practiced, obviously and clearly they practice and get their combinations working again.
I know the season's only 6 matches deep for Olympic, but it's been the story of their campaign so far. Inopportune goals conceded, just at the wrong time. There's Tyler Warren. Well, his pass seems to have gone astray. It has gone over the line. Sam Walker saw the opportunity. Morgan Aquino swivels in the box. Spinning around like a top there. He almost lost his bearings. Kasic with a handball. Here's Scott Pettit. Great challenge from Tom Sparray. I'll just have a quick scan of these other scores. It's a goal fest in the NPL Northern New South Wales this afternoon. Of course, yesterday, Lambton Jaffas getting the result over the Jets Youth 2-0, opening up that gap between the top 5 teams and the rest. Here is Pettit. Falls for Pappas, who hits it. Look, another deflection. Sparrow with an important toe in there. So scores at the moment. Valentine 2-1 over Western, 1-1 still at Maitland, and Adamstown still 2-1 up over Charlestown. And now Paul Shikawa breaking free. And he gets a tug from Davies, who has to go into the book there. And the momentum just swings again, CT.
Yeah, look, Olympic have been and were dominant through that period, and this right now is a crucial point in the game because that momentum we talk about and we've spoken about it often. It does change, and now clearly Lake Macquarie have got a sniff at things and they're looking to take it.
A side that hasn't won here at Darling Street since 2011, Lake Macquarie. And CT, you were actually sitting down in the dugout that particular afternoon. A 4-3 victory for the Roosters. They scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to win 4-3. Here's Pappas looking for Mooney. How much do you remember of that afternoon?
Well, what I do remember is Hamilton Olympic have always been tough, and that particular day, each goal would be a little glance at then coach of Hamilton, Michael Balch.
And it's Tom Sparray. He gives away the penalty. We'll see what the assistant referee has said. And Aaron Strickland has pointed to the spot. Well, from the naked eye, CT, I didn't think that was a penalty.
No, look, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think that was a penalty either. I thought that tackle was at the ball and on it. And
I was going to say good challenge from Sparray, to be honest. I thought he got a toe in. And Aaron Strickland was just chatting to his assistant referee. And Sam Walker's gone into the book for a yellow card in the aftermath of all of that. And Scott Pettit gets the chance to score 2 in 2 for Hamilton Olympic. When he's in form, Scott Pettit, he can turn it on. And to restore the advantage, slots that one straight down the middle, Scott Pettit. And Hamilton Olympic back in front. This seesawing contest continues.
What a game we've got going on here. This is really unfolding. It's been Olympic possession, getting the ball about and then looking on top and then missing an opportunity. Lake Macquarie down the other end, they get a goal. Then they're looking like they're on top of things, and then a penalty, in my view, that wasn't a penalty. Now Olympic back in front. Peter McGuinness might say something different about his view on that. And however, it looks like a fair challenge. Anyway, it doesn't change the result. It's now 4-3 to Olympic.
Just incredible, this match this afternoon. The swings in momentum. So Hamilton Olympic on top, Lake Macquarie equalise, and then Lake Macquarie just having that period of ascendancy, and then Hamilton Olympic get back in front. Here's Aquino. Sam Walker slaloming through the defence. Still Walker cuts it back. He will win a corner. And Sam Walker just being told to slow it down by Nick Webb. This is the thing when the blood is rushing to the head after a decision you don't agree with. Sometimes you can just make some rash decisions. So good option here from Sam Walker just to take a moment. And I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do there. I don't know whether he was looking for Sparray or he just got it all wrong. And Pettit to Mooney. Stuart Plant's got some work to do. And he passes that test with flying colours. Pappas thought Plant was still off his line. But he wasn't, the Roosters keeper. Kasic looks forward. Sam Walker on the spin. Here is Simon Mooney and Corey Fletcher have had a bit of a tangle in back play. Everything is all good. Here is Tyler Warren. CT Stoush is spelled Stowsh.
Well, I didn't know if it was a weak
Stoush.
attempt at a joke that you were having go before, but...
It's like a fight. A stoush.
Oh, that's sort of stoush. But you were referring to birds.
Yeah, stoush between two birds.
Oh, gee. Leave the jokes to me, will you, Bart?
Here's Tom Walker. I was going, surely you know what a stoush is.
Well, yeah. Don't try to avoid them.
If you have just joined us, we were talking about the Maitland-Edgeworth match and Magpies up against Eagles.
Well, while we're there, Bart, what do you call it? I'll come back. Sorry, go on.
We've got a substitution, and Jacob Bailey's making it his job to shake hands with all and sundry out there. Shaking Aaron Strickland's hand and stroll off the pitch just to cool himself down, and it will be Jared Sutherland who heads out there. Former Mariners youth youngster. He's started a few matches for Hamilton Olympic this season. He's a pocket rocket. It's an interesting move. I was just going to say the difference in size. So you're taking a man who has got so much strength on the ball, not as much speed as Sutherland, and you're bringing on a youngster who doesn't quite have the same physical presence. He has some speed, and he puts Kasic into the book there.
Oh, it looks like you're just trying to pick a fight with your big brother, and I'd probably leave that one alone if I was Sutherland. Anyway, while we're there, what do you call a pig that knows karate? A pork chop. Ha!
I hope there's no one laughing watching the stream.
So Smudge is not here. He'd love that. Ha!
So here is Pettit and off the post. Well, that was the moment for Reece Pappas and Hamilton to go too clear. And it would have been the first time in the match either side has found themselves ahead by more than a goal. And that could have been curtains for the Roosters. Cody Lucas scored just the once this year, Reece Pappas. After returning to Hamilton Olympic, he played with the Mariners. He didn't quite get to the to start in an A-League match or on the bench. He was 18th man a few times, returning to Olympic last year. It's been quality for them in the middle of the park, especially from the dead ball situations. That time on the end of it. Here is Jared Sutherland now. Sparray. Now Pettit. Mooney took a little deflection off the leg of Fletcher.
Don't forget, Bart, we've got our Harry Schnitzel play of the day. For those people unfamiliar with that, it's not necessarily something that has to happen on the pitch. It can happen on the pitch or off the pitch. Something that we see as outstanding, special or otherwise, funny. It could be anything. So we're keeping our eye out for that. And also our Sports Click Man of the Match. And one that's popping into mind at the moment is Simon Mooney. Having a terrific game.
3 goals already. Could have had 4. I was going to say maybe your attempted selfie with Sam Walker after he scored the penalty. Maybe up there for play of the day.
Well, Sam may be in a little bit of trouble because he needed to get there about 3 minutes earlier than what he did.
Here is Kasic. That's a decent ball in, but Mitch Hunter couldn't get the connection. Simon Mooney, he is onside. Can he score his 4th now? No, there was a brick wall there in place in the form of Tom Walker. Aquino, well, how did he wriggle free from McGuinness and Green? Kyle Hodges there to stop him at the 3rd attempt. So Valentine have gone 3-1 up against Western. Adamstown still 2-1 up against Charlestown, and still 1-1 at Maitland between the Magpies and the Eagles. So Western's barren run looks to be continuing for the moment. Tyler Warren. An important match here this afternoon. It's so compact, the back end of the ladder, as we see another card come out here this time for McGuinness.
Well, the points are important for both sides here, because for Lake Macquarie, if they get 3 points here, then it really gets them away from the bottom end of the pack. And for Olympic, surprisingly, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but they're sitting at towards the bottom end of the table. So that's just to sort of get them up out of that little rut they're in.
Chipped forward by Walker. Lake Macquarie in 7th on 6 points. And Valentine 11th on 3, so it's very tight. Here is Pappas pushing forward with the outside of his boot. He's overhit that, but Simon Mooney was able to track it down. And the chance is still on offer. Scott Pettit off the bar. What's that, the 3rd time Hamilton Olympic have hit the post this afternoon? Gee, they've been unlucky.
Had that ball been released a lot earlier to Mooney, the run was made inside on the ball, and Mooney tracked out to the right. Earlier, he was straight on one-on-one with the keeper. And Plant would have found himself one-on-one with Mooney, which wouldn't have been good news for Lakes.
Well, the end-to-end action continues. So from one end, the ball comes off the crossbar, and now Lake Macquarie with the corner, and it is going to be Paul Shikawa to make way for Jaden Sayeta. Jay Sayeta actually played in the 2016 Under-19s NPL Grand Final for Broadmeadow Magic that Nick Webb coached. And they won that one 1-0. Sam Webb scored the winner. And here's Mitch Hunter. And just couldn't dip early enough for him. I'm pretty sure I know I was commentating that game. I think you were as well. It was
Yep, that's right.
tight game of football, that one. Magic impressive as well, and Western too.
And I believe Morgan Aquino was playing in that match, if
He was.
I remember correctly. And Nick Webb was telling me about him earlier today that, you know, he's really come out and almost surprised himself, I think, were the words, that, you know, he's just been able to stand up and really take part and be a really strong part of the attacking force for Lake Macquarie this year.
Here's Cooper fouled again. And Corey Fletcher into the book now. And if they did stats on most fouled player in the competition, Reece Cooper would have to be in the top 3, I would think.
Well, the reason for that is because he's very elusive. He's hard to track, and he's good with both feet, and he can weave at you. And so, you know, players just seem to, you know, have the attitude sometimes with him. If he goes past, he goes down. And you're right, he does cop a lot of it.
Bounces back up as always, and Pettit. What's happening here? So Strickland is going to speak to Sam Walker and Mooney. And
McGuinness hanging outside of the box, waiting for the rebound.
And Pettit this time can't get the ball up and over the wall. You can just say Sean Pratt there warming up behind goal. His bib is almost totally off. I'm just wondering whether that might be a bit off-putting, thinking you've got another man. I know he's off the field, but if you're at the other end of the ground. This one whipped in. Walker with the header away. You see him standing there, Sean Pratt. He doesn't have the bib on, sort of flailing off the back. Here's Sam Walker. And Reece Pappas just herring after him. Weaves away from the challenge of Pappas, and then Davies takes him down, but it's Pappas who is going to go into the card. We'll just do a quick count of the amount of cards. We have had a card frenzy in the second half.
Well, while you're doing that, that's fair enough too, that Sam Walker he was let go, and play was the referee's done the right thing in letting him go, but he certainly, Pappas had no intention of him going past him without a foul.
6 cards as I understand now. 4 for the Roosters, 2 for Olympic. Here is Sam Walker, straight into the wall. McGuinness quick thinking to just knock it over the touchline. Sparray sees the run of Fletcher, and Davies, not sure whether that was the right option to keep the ball inside the line. Here is Sparray, and now Hunter, punch from Tyler Warren. It will be a corner in the end. And Sean Pratt is getting ready to come onto the park. Scored in the FFA Cup win against Cohybra just a few days ago. See if he can continue his good form in front of goal. It's his first goal of the season. Take the corner. Campbell Ross dinking it. Tyler Warren could take in the air. And that substitution will be made. So Reece Cooper, he's been battered, he's been bumped around, he played on Thursday night as well. So Pete McGuinness giving Reece Cooper a breather. So their most potent man in the front third. I know Simon Mooney scored 3, but in terms of the dangerous nature of Reece Cooper, just his ability to beat players. It's a big move from Pete McGuinness.
It really is. It's a move that surprises me because, you know, you're 4-3 up, not 6-3. But look, McGuinness has got his reason. I'm never going to question what he's got to say regarding that. It's just one that most would find unusual because he is so dangerous.
Matt, you've got to look at the workload of a player like Reece Cooper. Sam Walker, just a total air swing there. Pappas. Great challenge from the Lake Macquarie captain. Dances forward, finds his brother Tom, and then Morgan Aquino. This is where Lake Macquarie look really good. This one-touch football up the ground. Swift transition. Walker. A glancing header.
Well, that's a really good passage of play, and they need a lot more of that type of football. As you just mentioned, Bart, the one-touch football and moving in numbers and moving forward in numbers. And when you're doing that, it's a lot harder to defend. And Olympic looked stretched at that point. So, you know, it's very encouraging from Lake Macquarie to see them play that type of football. And that's the sort of football we saw them play against Valentine. And we're opening them up on that day on regular occasions. And I think it was 6 times. And could have been more. So, you know, they've definitely got it in them.
There's Kasic. Now Blake Green. One looks overhit and Stuart Plant will come out and claim. And Stuart Plant's former side Charlestown, because he was playing primarily in the under-20s, didn't play any first grade action. They've just equalised against Adamstown to make it 2-2, and Lake Macquarie almost equalised here to make it 4-4. They are knocking on the door here. Stuart Plant just beats Simon Mooney to the ball. And I think you'd get a bit, CT, if you predicted who scored the goals for Charlestown, if they're correct. On the little app I've got, Simon Mooney back heel towards Sean Pratt. I won't hold you in suspense any longer. Matt Tull with a double.
Well, there you go.
They've got Goodshall, they've got Smith, but they've also got Matt Tull, the skipper. Goal scoring
Tully's not exactly known for his regular goal scoring.
Cody Lucas. That one quite solid, and Tyler Warren, he'll want his time over again. Now McGuinness looks up the ground, free kick. And we just seem to be entering that same sort of passage of play that we were getting when Hamilton were up 3-2. Hamilton just controlling possession, controlling the match, the tempo of the match. Lake Macquarie just needs something. But they really need 2 goals, because a point this afternoon, while it's not a defeat, they won't want to come away with just the point. They've only won 1 of the last 8 matches between these two sides. It's been Hamilton who have had the upper hand. Harry Lane, now Hunter. Campbell Ross. Now to Aquino.
It's better from Lakes.
Sam Walker, still Walker. Tom Davies puts his body on the line. Harry Lane, it opens up for Lane. He just couldn't quite find the space. Here is Walker. It may fall for Spare. The clearance from Cody Lucas. It's nervous times here for Hamilton. Really nervous. All hands to the pump for them. Here's Tom Walker dinking it in. Hunter brings it under his control. It was just behind Sayeta. And this is what Olympic were doing against Edgeworth. Sitting back and attracting pressure. They get the relieving goal kick now.
And again, that's a lot better from Lakes. I mean, in the end, the shot was a fizzer, but they certainly applying a lot of pressure, and see a substitution now.
Yeah, so coming onto the ground is Bailey Williams, former Magic youth player. Now with Lake Macquarie. See how much of an impact he can have. Sean Pratt. Pratt darted away from Sayeta.
Substitution in the Lake Macquarie team. Number 7, Thomas Barr, has been replaced by number 20, Bailey Wiggins. Hi, Bailey. Hi.
Neat flick on. Jared Sutherland with the twinkle toes. Great touch, great 1-2. Jared Sutherland just took himself away from goal. Didn't quite open up enough for him to have the strike on goal. He didn't see a clear passage. Reese Pappas. Pettit. Across the face, Mooney. Well, that's another one. And Pete McGuinness. Well, I think he's almost had a heart attack. He rested his head on the dugout thinking, what is going on there? That's a couple of chances Simon Mooney's had. He could have had 5 this afternoon.
Well, he should have finished that one. That one's for sure. The other one, we said, we should put away. That one was more difficult. That one, not so. He should have finished that. And McGuinness absolutely pulling his hair out.
If he has any left. But there was some neat build-up as well from Sutherland and Pratt to Mariners Youth Products. And Harry Lane turns away from Sutherland. Williams now with a touch. Finds himself in a bit of a pickle. Rolls one up the line. So here's a free kick in decent position for the Roosters. Tom Walker is going to stand over it. Can he find the money ball now? All but 2 in the box for the Roosters. Walker rises, as does Tyler Warren. Campbell Ross gets up above Scott Pettit. But his head has gone straight to Simon Mooney. Cody Lucas Sees the run of Pappas. Attempted back heel to Pettit. It was the right option. Now Campbell Ross. Just got a little nibble from Mooney. Time slipping through the hourglass for the Roosters now. They really have to find something. Davies, up he goes. Now Sutherland just couldn't quite get there before Tom Walker. And he's flowing forward. Trickles down towards the byline. And Sean Pratt decides for the lesser of two evils, the throw instead of the corner. It's the touch from Sayeta. And Walker thought he left it short on Fletcher, but they get away with it. Pratt pushing up. Tom Walker making the run forward. Here's Olympics opportunity. Simon Mooney quickly gets the pass to Sean Pratt, who decides just to stop Sean Pratt. Had he have kept running, he was really loping there, Sean Pratt. What an opportunity for him to break quickly. Bailey Williams now. Now to Walker. Ross tried to find the decisive ball through the middle. Still with Williams. Can he open it up? And it deflects up off the shoulder of McGuinness. And, well, Simon Mooney, what's going on here? There's a yellow card. Kasich, his head bent back abruptly there. I thought it was going to be a straight red for a minute. It was just totally out of the blue. I didn't see it.
Now, I've got to admit, I didn't. I was looking off the ball, so I didn't see what happened there. And our special guest that I was late for, but Trevor Reedman, loves the microphone, and get a chat to him in a minute if possible. He thought there was nothing in it. Play on.
We'll take his view. Sam Walker, again, another chance.
Mind you, he's a Manly supporter.
We won't hold that against him.
No, and I think the last game that he watched of soccer, as he calls it, was 1990 never.
Well, good to see him here this afternoon.
It's wonderful to see him here, enjoying himself in the sun. One of my work colleagues, Bart at ARTC, North Coast area manager, does a terrific job.
Obviously, they'd love you to be spending this amount of time with you. Here's Jared Sutherland. Well, this will seal it. Well, he's going to hand out the yellow card here to Jay Sayeta. Well, I'm a bit perplexed as to why the advantage wasn't played there, CT.
Yeah, I would have thought that let's play on from there, and obviously Olympic are not happy with that result.
It's not the first time Olympic have been dudded by a decision not to play the advantage. They actually scored against Valentine. Jake McGuinness, I believe, just plonked one in the top corner, and it was brought back for a free kick.
We've just had a message here, Bart, from Jim Pappas saying that 4 goals in a game is a club record held by John Majorowski against Lakes.
Here's Pettit. Well, there it was. On a platter for Pettit. I should say Mooney again. Maybe a little harsh. It was a touch high. So 4 goals is the Hamilton Olympic record. John Majorowski v Lakes. That's for Hamilton Olympic. And Simon Mooney is after it. He scored 3 in the first half. He's gone goalless in the second 45 as it stands currently. And here's Jake McGuinness. So Simon Mooney, here he is for the club record. No, offside. Anti-climax.
Mooney has been in absolutely everything, and he'll probably feel a little skinny that it's only 3 from him.
Well, he could have had 6. He could have had, and that's not joking.
Well, the pleasing news for McGuinness is that he's putting himself in position to score, and that's what you want as a coach. You want your strikers in position to score and regularly, and he's doing that. He's had an outstanding game as Mooney. Saw his father here, Tim, down there. He'd be proud, and I can actually see him in the grandstand next to his wife, Lynn. Be
Well,
very proud of
here we
son.
go. This is huge. Adamstown leading Charlestown 3-2 now as Tyler Warren clears that one up the ground. Hamilton here 4-3 as we enter stoppage time. Edgeworth 2-1, a late goal against Maitland, and Valentine 3-2 against Weston. There are goals flowing everywhere. Is there some late drama here at Olympic? Looking to break a 3-game losing streak and to win here at Darling Street for the first time in 278 days. There's Mooney and Fletcher in a tangle. And Fletcher shoves down Mooney. He's got to be careful here, Corey Fletcher, or he'll be sent for an early shower. He's already on a yellow card. Here's Pappas, deciding to go for the strike instead of finding Sutherland.
That one had some adrenaline in it. You can see the purpose about the play of Olympic at the moment. I really want to get this one finished off. Going to talk about the play of the day, Bart. Just quickly, I can't go past Cameron.
Cameron Holtzheimer.
Sorry, back with you. Can't go past Cameron Holtzheimer in a delicate situation, and we spoke about that earlier. I think that discreetly we won't interview him again, but give him the play of the day because it's great to see him here.
He'd love to have a Harry Snitzel as well.
Well, if not his father Shane that we were speaking to, it might be something that he would welcome.
I've got another one in my bag actually. Maybe we can give him one each. Here's McGuinness.
I'm sure Harry would not mind. Harry Schnitzel.
Sean Pratt just straying offside. So what an afternoon it's been in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Seems as though we may have a few upsets. Different results at different grounds around the place. You just cannot tip this competition. Sam Walker dinking it. Is this the chance for Lake Macquarie Aquino? Winning the corner. It's not over yet for the Roosters. Once again, they've shown they can score goals, but it's been their defence that has been the issue this afternoon, conceding 4. You could say the same for Olympic. It's been a high-scoring shootout. And we'll beat Bailey Williams over the line. Pressure still on though. Sean Pratt. Here is Hunter. McGuinness still just want to knock it long. Not quite as long as he would have liked because Campbell Ross is sitting back there in the circle. Here is Walker trying to bring it under his control, and Davies sees the sideline. Says, let's knock it over there.
Thought Walker used his body a little bit too much there, and probably a push, to be honest. Got away with it.
It's a bit frantic here for the Roosters at the end. Tom Walker. Gee whiz. In his 101st match for the Roosters, almost came up with a stunning equaliser late.
Well, that didn't miss by much, and it flashed the goalmouth, had Tyler Warren beaten. And we've got someone down in back play. I'm not sure who that is.
Blake Green, I think, with cramp.
He seems to be rubbing the back of his head.
He may have cramp. He may have a little bit of a knock to the head. He's limping.
It's all going on for Blake Green.
But it's been a good afternoon for him against his former Roosters teammates. And in the end, the difference between the sides may be that controversial penalty, which went the way of Scott Pettit and Hamilton Olympic. But to be honest, they've hit the post 3 or 4 times this afternoon. And you'd say they deserve the 3 points.
You would, but the game's not over yet. And they haven't got it just yet.
Here's Tom Walker and Aaron Strickland. He will bring the curtain down on this one this afternoon. Hamilton Olympic finally break a 4-match winless run and win at Darling Street for the first time in 278 days. That's 2 from 2 for McGuinness's men. this afternoon. They won against Cahaiba on Thursday in the FFA Cup. They continue that momentum in the NPL, and maybe, just maybe, that will revive their season. That's huge as well. They go to 7 points on the ladder, and for Lake Macquarie, they'll need to regroup. That's their second NPL loss in a row, and defensively now they've conceded 9 goals in the last 2 matches after that clean sheet against Maitland midweek. So I think Nick Webb will be doing some tinkering at the back for Lake Macquarie midweek before next week they take on Maitland next Saturday night at home at Macquarie Field. Hamilton Olympic face a huge clash against Lambton Jaffers next Saturday at 2:30. So full time here at Darling Street. Hamilton Olympic 4, Lake Macquarie 3. And Chris Toner will be grabbing our man of the match in just a second. And while he's doing that, I'll just go through those other scores. We'll see if Adamstown have hung on. That one's still live currently. Adamstown leading by 3 goals to 2. Edgeworth 2-1 up at Maitland. And Valentine, well, there's been a late flurry of goals at the CB complex. 4-3, that one. Western have just scored, so it was 4-2 and now 4-3. So plenty of goals this afternoon. 4-3 here this afternoon at Darling Street as well. And the standings, based on the results currently as they stand, Edgeworth go to the top of the ladder, Charlestown in second, Magic, of course, with a bye this week in third, Maitland in fourth. So Edgeworth up the top on 16, still with a game in hand on Charlestown, so they could go theoretically 3 points clear. Lambton Jaffers in 5th place on 12, Newcastle Jets on 10, and then Adamstown in 7th on 8, Hamilton Olympic in 8th, Lake Macquarie 9th, Valentine 10th, and Western, again after that strong start to the season, in last place. So tight, just 2 points separating 7th to 11th, 4 points separating 6th to 11th, and that gap now between 4th and 7th, 5 points, so decent. Hopefully you got all those stats. We do have our man of the match, Simon Mooney, and Pete McGuinness, the victorious coach, will also have a chat. And CT, I will let you take it from here.
I have to qualify. We've got a very reluctant Simon Mooney here with us. Moon's a good mate of mine. You've had a terrific game today. I mean, from your coach's point of view, you had how many opportunities? 6, 7. You got 3. But the good news is you were in position to score, and often. We were looking at your game through today. How did you find it? I mean, you're obviously getting a lot of scoring positions, but you're playing at the top of the point on your own. How were you finding those opportunities?
I'm not sure, Matt. No idea.
We are talking about a reluctant campaigner here. This is going to be tough. What I will say, mate, you've got a win for the group. What do you think it means to the team?
It's good for the team now. I guess we can build on it. All those other cliches, I should say, right now. Good.
Yeah, look, but all jokes aside, because I know you're going to have some with me later, it is good for the team because you've been in everything week in, week out. It's like we made mention before. If you didn't see the scoreline, you'd say, and you watch your game, you think Olympic have won.
Yeah, I don't know. We play the ball well, but sometimes it doesn't go in. Today it did, which is good. Yeah. Thank God. And
good to see your mum, Tim, and your mum, Tim, your dad, Tim, and your mum, Lynn, here today.
Yeah, they're always here, of course.
It's good. They do, and look, I'll let you go, mate, because I know you're not overly happy with this, but yeah, congratulations, and go and celebrate with the team.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
That was Simon Mooney, and we've got Hamilton Olympic coach Peter McGuinness here. It's got to be relief.
Well, it's relief, all right. Look, the group itself, they can play good football, but week in, week out, we tend to find ourselves chasing games. Whether that be through individual mistakes or just switching off or for whatever reason. But again, it happened today again. I thought we could have probably scored in the first minute, didn't. And then I think we had another opportunity, and then we found ourselves down again, and that's a frustrating part. But look, today was just about getting a win, getting some points. Particularly, I know they can play football, and I know we can develop them further as footballers and as a team. But without that key ingredient of winning games, it's hard to get momentum and confidence in what we're coaching and what we're doing. So, in the scale of percentages, winning games probably 50%. The other part's playing football. So, hopefully, we take that into a good week of training and go up against I think it's Jaffers next week. So. They'll be tough, but with a bit of confidence that we know we can score. Just keep the other end tidy.
Yeah, you and I have been mates for a long time, and I know your capabilities of a coach. You would have just overheard us talking about with Simon Mooney just then that if you didn't see the scoreline, you'd probably think you've won the game. Is that how you've been feeling, or is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah, look, watch the games back every week and code them and break them up into things to coach and what we need to fix, which is good. But yeah, Simon's been a revelation up front. I remember coaching him before at Broadmeadow, and he makes good, powerful forward runs. He's physical. He's just got to stop getting yellow cards. He got 3. He's on 4 now. So yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly right. Well, I won't hold you up any longer. I'm sure people appreciate your time here, and go and enjoy what you deserve with your team, which for me has been overdue. And thanks again, mate.
Thanks, CT.
Cheers.
CT, and that will wrap it up for this afternoon. Some big results. Adamstown getting the job done 3-2 over Charlestown. That result just coming in there. Hamilton, of course, getting the win here. Valentine as well, and Edgeworth up at Maitland. So, goal fest.
It is a goal fest, and you know what? It's good fun to watch, and it'll be good to look on the compilation that gets put together through the week. Hopefully,
how are we going to be goal of the week this week?
Well, there's plenty of them to choose from. But what is good news for Hamilton Olympic here is that they've got something that most people would say they deserve, and that's a long overdue victory, and obviously a very happy coach.
Late Macquarie, what are they going to do to improve? I know defensively they haven't been at their best the last 2 NPL matches. They were good. They were good on Wednesday night in the FFA Cup, a clean sheet. Do you think they have to tap into what they did there?
Yeah, as a coach, the biggest thing that you want to get right is your defence. And if you're stopping goals, then it's one goal will do the job, and so you don't want to be leaking 3, 2, 4, whatever it is. If you can get that out of the game and you can keep clean sheets, that's where you're going to be really finding yourself at the top end of the competition. So if it's I think Nick Webb will take a lot out of that, and he'll know that. No one needs to tell him that they'll be working on that, and I think they'll be they're playing well. I think they'll have a strong second half to the season.
All right, well, that wraps it up this afternoon from Darling Street. Hamilton Olympic 4-3 winners over Late Macquarie. We'll catch you on Thursday night for the NPL show.